We're a little more than a week away from the Illinois primary, and a lot of attention is being given to the race for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination. Democrats also have a hotly contested local race in Rock Island County. That's for state's attorney. Four Democrats want the job to be the top prosecutor. Current state's attorney Dora Villarreal is trying to keep the job she was appointed to last summer. She's being challenged by Herb Schultz, Ronald Stratt, and Calvin Dane. We will focus on the last two this morning. First on that list is Ronald Stratt. He graduated from Moline High School. Stratt enlisted in the Marine Corps early in his career. He served for 5 years. Stratt earned his bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Maryland. He has a master's degree in policy economics from the University of Illinois and graduated from Northern Illinois University's Law School. Stratt has a wide array of legal experience. He started as an attorney with the Illinois Department of Securities, worked as a prosecutor in the Rock Island County State's Attorney's Office for a couple of years, then moved on to be an assistant attorney general in Illinois for 2 years. Stratt has spent the last 17 years in his current job as an associate general counsel for the Illinois Teachers Union. Here's some background for Calvin Dane. Dane graduated from Bettendorf High School, earned his bachelor's degree in international relations from Grinnell College, then went on to get his law degree from the University of Iowa. Dane's first job as a lawyer was a brief stint in Texas. He came to the Quad Cities and worked in private practice for about 3 years. Dane then joined the Rock Island County State's Attorney's Office as a prosecutor in 2016. He's been an assistant state's attorney there ever since. Whoever wins the primary will face Republican Kathleen Bailey in November. We had a conversation with Dora Villarreal and Herb Schultz last week. You can still find those interviews online at ourquadcities.com. This morning, we extend that same opportunity to those other two candidates in the race, the people I just mentioned, Ronald Stratt and Calvin Dane. Welcome both of you to the program. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us both on. It's really good to be able to hear from all the candidates.
Absolutely. So well, Democrats in Rock Island County have four of you to choose from as their nominee for state's attorney. Why do you both feel the need to challenge Dora Villarreal, and what makes you more qualified than her and the other candidates? We'll start with you, Mr. Stratt.
Well, first I'd like to invite anybody that's considering voting for me to go to my website, go to batforstrat.com. There's no letters. It's all no
I'm
numbers.
sure they'll find it if they do a search. Yep.
Right. So I believe that a person's character is shaped by their life experiences, and I think my life experiences have shaped my character, which embodies integrity. And I believe that the county is entitled to well-reasoned, logical merit assessments of difficult questions of law. And I take a different perspective of the criminal justice system in that I think people, when they get caught up in the criminal justice system, they want to know that the system is going to be fair, that the prosecutors are going to present the evidence that supports their prosecution, but also exonerates them. And our system of justice is a very core value that we have, and that's why I'm running for state's attorney, is because I want to preserve what we believe is a very core value of our judicial system.
Same question to you then, Mr. Dane. Why the challenge to the, not quite incumbent, but she's got the job for 6 months, and then what makes you more qualified than the rest?
Yeah. Well, first, it's not a challenge. It's up for the voters to decide who their state's attorney is going to be this March 17th, and I believe I'm the best candidate.
What do you think makes you more qualified than the rest of the field?
I believe that I have the best plan for administering our office and the best vision for delivering justice to the people of Rock Island County. I've also been a prosecutor in this office longer than any of the other folks who are running, and I have the quality of experience having been a criminal defense attorney as well as practicing civil law.
Everyone in this race does certainly have a pretty good background of legal experience, to be sure. What are your biggest priorities if you get the job? What do you see as the things the prosecutor's office needs the most, and how do you make those changes that you think need to be needed? We'll go back to you, Mr. Dane.
Thank you, Jim. I'd say my first priority is to fix the backlog of cases, and we can do this by refocusing on the worst criminals and worst crimes instead of the low-level drug possessors that are clogging up the court system and our jail. Let's get them into treatment. Additionally, we have an issue with increasing juvenile criminality, and I'd like to address this problem through restorative justice. We need...
When you say restorative justice, what does that mean for us laymen who might not know the term?
Okay, briefly I would say it's a program to make kids, the youth, the offenders, these juvenile offenders, be accountable to their victim, their community, and their family and themselves in a sort of a collaborative process.
So more counseling and, I guess, community involvement, that sort of thing, community service and those
Exactly.
sorts of things. Mr. Stratt, what about you?
Well, my
Priorities and
yeah, well, the first priority is to make sure that you have a seamless transition of management. You know, when you elect any new office holder, getting in and having a smooth transition is certainly going to be important. I think relationships are critical. I think the first thing that a state's attorney has to do when getting elected is to develop those relationships with the people in the office, develop the relationships with the people in the county that work for the county. I think it's critical that the state's attorney work with the stakeholders in the community. That's not only the unions who are representing employees, but community organizers and other people within the community to help solve problems. I don't think any one person alone is going to be able to solve any problem that we have, whether it's a criminal problem or a civil problem or whatever the case may be. I think it's critical that we develop a collaborative relationship with community stakeholders to resolve problems. I just want to make one example. I was just reading about an airline traffic crash where, you know, when a plane crashes, the first thing that happens is that the National Transportation Safety Board does an investigation to find out what the problem is, and we try to solve the problem. With juvenile crime, I think the solution is to get together with the community stakeholders and find out what we can do to give better economic opportunities for people so that they can, you know, do something with their life rather than resorting to crime.
Trying to find the root causes early and get out in front of the problem. We have more ground to cover with these two who want to be the next Rock Island County State's Attorney coming up. Bailing on bail, what changes should be considered for a system that heavily favors the wealthy? For the record.